Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. I hope that you're doing well this morning. I hope you had a great weekend. It was a beautiful weekend, and of course, at least where I was involved, and of course, that was right here in Troy, Alabama. Got to get out and see the big scrimmage Saturday morning. I got to go see part of the sorority squill day, and I got to go see the band, Troy University band practice. We went to, our cameras were at the Troy University's media day, and all of it, and then my granddaughters were here, so I had a great weekend. Hope those of you that are watching on Facebook this morning are doing well, wherever you are across the world. And it is amazing, amazing, amazing to me is that we can sit here and talk to somebody in Hong Kong, or at least they can hear us speaking. In fact, they could pick up a phone right now. If you're watching us somewhere on Facebook throughout this country, call in at we need to get us a screen up here. Call in at 334-670-0052. 334-670-0052. Or wherever you're watching today, call in and take part in our show. Of course, brought to you by our good friend Hoss Daddy at Sanders Truck Lines in Troy, Alabama. If it doesn't say Sanders Truck Lines, believe you me, you don't want it, because they are the best. Not only do they have the cleanest, nicest trucks on the road today, but they have the amenities that can give you a future in the trucking industry. And I tell you, a lot of people are out there joining up with Sanders Trucking today. $1,000 to just come in and sign the dotted line and say, hey, I want to drive for Sanders Truck Lines in Troy, Alabama. And of course, all kinds of amenities. Not only is there a bonus for $1,000 if you are a military person or a retired military person. How about $1,200 to sign with Sanders Truck Lines? And of course, another great thing about Sanders is they'll even pay for your schooling, for you to go out to go to truck driving school and learn how to the proper ways to drive a truck, and they'll actually pay for your schooling if you sign the dotted line with Sanders Truck Lines of Troy, Alabama. I want to mention, of course, a lot going on, and man, oh man, Brooks Koepka, hey, is he something or not? Have you ever seen a cooler guy in a tough situation? He was outstanding. He's won 3 golf tournaments in his career, and all of them have been major tournaments. And as the crowd was just raving on about Tiger Woods, it didn't bother this guy one bit. He closed with a 4 under 66 and a 2-shot victory in the PGA Championships held in St. Louis, Missouri. One of the largest crowds to ever watch a golf tournament, and it seemed like half of them, or more than half of them, were rooting for Tiger Woods, who shot an amazing 64 yesterday. But Brooks Koepka would have none of it. I mean, even though the crowds were going crazy in front of him, he was playing steady golf behind Tiger Woods. And like Tiger Woods said in the interview was, how can I beat somebody that was hitting it 340 yards in the air? I mean, it was such a soft course that once it hit, it pretty much stopped. What if it was on a hard surface? How far would his golf ball be going? Hey, Will Matthews, call us this morning and let us know about this golf tournament. And anybody that would like to discuss this tournament, call in to our show right now. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
At Dixieland Dental, we provide a full range of dental services. The team of dentists at Dixieland Dental, Dr. Mike Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Robert Precise, and Dr. Naaman Strength, are all dedicated to providing their patients with preventative, general, and cosmetic dentistry, including implant placement and restoration. We offer state-of-the-art 3D X-ray and imaging to help you better understand the procedures that you will be undergoing. With our in-house denture lab, we can offer same-day service for your dentures. You have your consultation and fitting in the morning and come in the same afternoon for your final fitting and walk away with your new smile. Dixieland Dental also has an in-house crown and bridge lab where we have technicians specializing in porcelain overlay to custom fit your new crown. Our dentists are not only concerned with cosmetic procedures and restoration of your teeth, we also provide preventative cleaning and corrective procedures such as fillings and extraction of teeth. Dixieland Dental makes it easy for you to improve your smile by making appointments available within 5 business days, Monday through Friday. Call today to see why South Alabama chooses Dixieland Dental.
One hot and ready pizza, $5.
Get a large hot and ready pepperoni pizza for $5, or come in and try our new deep dish pizza for just $8. It has more cheese, more pepperoni, and 8 crispy caramelized cheese crust corner slices in every box. It's hot and ready every day from 4 to 8 p.m. and just $8 for a large, only at Little Caesar.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look, come to Troy Payton Body, where we do it right the first time. With over 100 years of combined experience, our professional staff can handle repairs or paint work on any make or model and offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own the vehicle. If you're in an accident, be sure to call Troy Payton Body. We offer 24-hour towing, ready to help you out during your time of need. So come see us at Troy Payton Body, located on South Brenda Street by the post office in Troy. Troy Payton Body. We meet by accident.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Our show, ladies and gentlemen, on this Monday morning as we start a work week, and gosh, hey, we're moving right on down the. In fact, this Friday night from Delaney Kirby Stadium on the campus of Pike Liberal Arts School in Troy, they open the season against Morgan Academy. Should be a good high school football game as Pike Liberal Arts goes head to head with their rival, the Morgan Academy Senators of Selma, Alabama. So the Alabama Independent Schools get started this week. The first games of the week as we go to our phones. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Mike Amos calling in this morning. Boy, what a golf match, Mike. Have you ever, and I'm going to tell you what, I thought I liked Bubba Watson the way he played, and I thought I liked Mickelson the way he plays, but I think this Copia guy might be my hero, buddy. He is a player.
Are you talking about Bruce Koepka?
Will Koepka, what do you call him? Koepka?
They call him Bruce Koepka, is his last name.
All right, Koepka, okay. Well, I tell you what, he didn't.
He missed several short putts. I mean, he could have blown everybody away.
Yeah.
He gave Adam Scott a chance, and Tiger Woods a chance. Of course, he made a lot of putts as well, but it's just a new.
Well, I didn't watch but the last 4 holes, and they were exciting.
It's a new way to play golf. I mean, the guy hits the ball 340 yards off the tee every time.
Well, and to tell you this, Mike, and what they were saying and what Tiger was saying, in the air, he was hitting it 340 in the air, no roll now because the course was real soft because it had been raining, and it was a real plush type course, and the ball didn't roll. What if it had rolled? He'd been hitting it 380.
Yeah, I mean, Tiger the shoot 64 was one of the more incredible days you'll ever see, considering the first 9 holes, he didn't even hit it in the fairway.
Yeah.
And he still shot 64, which is it's pretty evident that Tiger's going to win another major.
Oh, yeah.
So keeps on this time next year he'll win one. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, you know, it's great for golf. I mean, everybody out there wanted him to win.
Yeah.
I mean, that was out in St. Louis, and they said it was record crowds.
Somebody told me if you had the money, somebody told me that if you had the money, you could walk right into the golf tournament.
Oh, really?
I mean, they were. I mean, they were
really choked down the stretch. He missed 2 putts for par within 3 feet.
Who was that? Dustin Thomas.
No, Justin Thomas.
Justin Thomas, yeah.
3 putts within 3 feet.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, he sort of gave it away. He was leading after 9, wasn't he?
One time, yeah. I think your Thomas would have posted like 14 under.
Yeah.
There's been a lot more pressure on Koepka, but yeah, he ended up fading all the way down to 10 under. Now Stewart Cink came out of nowhere and tied for 4th. He ended up 11 under. So
Yeah.
he wasn't really good.
You know, he's playing real good golf. He really is. And you know, I wouldn't doubt if he didn't make the Ryder Cup. What would you think?
Nah, he's way off on the Ryder
You think
Cup,
he is?
but you know, he did have a good year money-wise.
Yeah. Well, of course, Koepka.
Tiger's a lock for the Ryder Cup now.
Yeah.
Mickelson will both be on the Ryder Cup team.
Why would you think Mickelson would be on the Ryder Cup team? He's not playing very well.
Mickelson's had a great year, though. He was in the top 10 in the FedEx points going into the PGA, and he also, I mean, he's won this year, but then, you know, he hadn't missed the Ryder Cup since 1994.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to want that experience.
Koepka, who looks like a linebacker, he looks like he played middle linebacker for somebody. You know, it tickled me. One of the commentators said, I think whoever got the biggest biceps is going to win this tournament. And Koepka, all these other guys, you'll try, and all of them, they use those short sleeves, you know, big powerful arms with short sleeves. And Koepka, he looked like a linebacker. Of course, he wins $1.98 million. He shot a 63 on Friday. Then he shot 69, 63, 66, 66. Really, there were a lot of good scores. The course really wasn't that hard, it didn't look like.
No, I mean, the only time you struggle on that course is if you hit it in the water. I mean, he hit it in the rough.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was pretty rough there. You're exactly right. Tiger.
Bruce Koepka is a Florida State University grad.
Yeah. Well, and he lives in Palm Beach, Florida, and it's a pretty nice place to live. Koepka won, like I said, won $1.98 million. Tiger, bless his heart, won $1.88 million. Adam Scott won $748,000. Stewart Cink from Florence, Alabama, won $489,000. Rahm, whatever, shot he took home $489,000, and Molinaro, $334,000. A guy named Peters, I don't know who this is, $334,000, and Thomas took home $334,000. So didn't do bad, you know.
Yeah.
Of course.
One thing interesting about Koepka is he played on the European tour when he first came out, and then he came to the PGA Tour. So, you know, he kind of has experience playing all over the world.
Yeah. Brian Gay was next to the last, but he still took home $18,700. You reckon that was enough to pay for all his expenses?
I would imagine.
He probably rented a house. Most all of them do, don't they?
Would do what? Yeah, I would say, yeah, most of them do. I mean, some maybe stay in hotels or.
Mike, they've got a great picture.
Stay in RVs.
They got a great picture of Troy quarterback Caleb Barker, and you folks out there watching this morning, that's a good-looking quarterback. And the guy, and I interviewed both of them on Saturday, and they were both, you know, real good interviews and real nice young men. Both of them are strong kids that can run. And there's another picture. This one, he didn't make the color picture, but a good picture of Sawyer Smith. So these are the two young men that are fighting for the quarterback job at Troy. And They say there's a sophomore, a freshman, pure freshman, Mike, out of Georgia that is also looking very impressive. His name is Gunnar Watson. Are you familiar with him?
I mean, I just read up on him. You know, it looks like he's pretty good high school career. You know, how that'll work out in college.
Yeah.
But definitely looks like they've got, you know, some good young quarterbacks, and going to be interested to see who takes that first snap. I guess Boise. I would imagine they're still competing up until that last week before the game.
I'm going to say something that's going to stun you. This Troy team might be something really, really special. I'm talking about really, really special. A team that could beat Boise State, a team that could beat Nebraska, and a team that could go 14-0. Now, what would be the wager on that? I could get a wager in a hurry on that. Somebody would be wanting to bet me, wouldn't
it? The sports book over in Mississippi today and place that bet on how many wins you think
I tell you what, this team is really special. I mean, they've got players, Mike. They can run. They got a good kicking game. They got a good secondary, experienced secondary. They've got linebackers that they think they can play, and they've got some rush ends that can put pressure on the quarterback. This is a good Troy team, I believe. I really believe this is going to be a very good Troy team.
Well, I think regardless, both these quarterbacks will be better athletes than Silver as far as overall athletes. I don't know if they can throw the ball like Silvers. Now, Silvers.
Well, I when I interviewed Barker, you know, he's very confident and so forth. And I asked him, I said, you know, some people think that confidence is you being cocky. He said, no. He said, I just believe in myself, and I like that answer. And he is very fast. He can run out of trouble. And Smith is pretty much the same type. They're the same type quarterback. Smith is a little bit bigger. Smith's hands are huge. Gosh, and they're real strong. You know, I shake a lot of hands when I interview players, and man, I noticed his hands, how big and strong he was right off the bat. He weighed about 225, right at 225, and I think that Coach Brown says he's not going to have a two-platoon system, but if anybody had a two-platoon system, this looks like a perfect situation here in Troy.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to be a two-platoon system in Tuscaloosa as Alabama scrimmages over the weekend. They say Tua was unbelievable in the scrimmage, threw 3 touchdown passes, and Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions in the scrimmage. So
oh, boy.
Looks like there's a really, really good chance that Tua will become the starter before that first game against Louisville.
Let me ask you something right here. Could Hurt leave at any time he wanted and still be eligible to play for some other team?
No, at this point he would have to sit out.
I thought, what's the deal on this four game deal?
He could play 4 games as a redshirt, but I thought you were talking about like leaving the team and going to another university.
I know, you know, but could he do that?
I mean, yeah, he could, but he couldn't play.
Oh, he couldn't. But unless it was a 1AA team.
Yeah, 1AA could. You know, he's from Houston. If you want to transfer to Sam Houston State, I guess he could.
Well, he's a good football player, and and it would tickle me, and I wouldn't doubt if they didn't use him at another position. What would you think?
I mean, it tickled me to see him play at Auburn. I think he'd be great under that.
Well, that means something. Hey, let's put out the word. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Hurt is going to Auburn. Hey, you reckon how that would move? That'd move quickly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the situation with Alabama is the backup quarterback, Jones, is looking really good as well. So it's one of those type things where I think Alabama feels like they have a good backup already.
You know, you reckon Jones wishes he had gone somewhere else other than Alabama? He might could have played at Florida right off the bat. What do you think?
Well, he's just going to be a sophomore. So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, I guess he's got to figure out what he wants to do. You know, if he ended up, you know, playing a lot of games this year, that's the thing. Like, if Hurts would transfer, he probably would play in a lot of games because I think Alabama's going to blow a lot of people out.
Yeah, no question about it. But you're right. Alabama's schedule is not very tough right now. Oh, also over the weekend, Mike, I got a Troy Media Guide. These things are not easy to come by.
Those used to be like, they used to give those away to everybody. You never see them.
Yeah, and I got a Troy Media Guide, and I'm proud of it, and it's very well done.
Amazing. We're one day
Adam
away. We did a coaches
Pendergrass.
show where you can see the coaches show throughout.
Yeah, oh yeah, you don't ever see that anymore.
Media guides.
I wonder, do they do that anymore?
I've seen a Troy coaches show since Bill Brown's been there.
And
Maybe
be
they did one, I don't know, but I've
That's
never
right.
seen it.
Now you always see a Mississippi State play coaches show, but you don't see a. I reckon the rest of them do
I
it.
see the Saban show every week.
Well, it sure is an advertised if they do it here in Troy, and of course it was a lot of fun this weekend though, and a lot of fun to be out and see these young men. They practice. Gosh, they practiced Thursday night, Mike. I left the practice. I said, well, sure, they're gonna go in and because of this rain and won't be back out. They practiced till 11 o'clock the other night. Can you believe that?
That's hard to believe.
That's wanting it, isn't it? We talk about a college team, ladies and gentlemen.
We were out
They
and about.
practiced till 11 o'clock Thursday night.
Enjoyed this weekend and had a good time, and we were out and about yesterday on a Sunday, and they're out practicing Sunday morning.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, talk about where you went to eat, and we'll talk about where we went to eat. Where we went to eat, we had fresh cut corn and fresh shelled peas. How good was that?
And really good fried chicken and really good mashed potatoes.
Yeah, you were talking and raving about the mashed potatoes. What made them taste so good to you?
They were just homemade.
So fresh, aren't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also put butter on them too, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, they had roast beef, they had pork. I mean, Red Schoolhouse.
And the best fried chicken in the world. And
I mean, I'll say,
would you think? All right, let's just say this: in this country, in these United States of America, and on Facebook, I want you to hear this. Do you think anybody anywhere had a better buffet than Red's Little Schoolhouse in Dublin, Alabama?
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, if I lived in Pike County, I would eat up there every weekend.
Well, and another thing too is how many people served fresh cut corn yesterday, and fresh shelled peas, and fresh shelled butter beans. And then how about that fried cornbread, Mike? Whoa!
I mean, it's all incredible.
I'm even making Steve Camp hungry, Mike.
I mean, the best thing about it, though, is just everything is good. That's what I told my wife yesterday. I said it's hard when you go there because you want to get everything.
You know what might have been the best thing?
A lot of places.
Let me tell you what might have been the best thing there was the wonderful carrot salad. No, well, watermelon was good, but carrot salad. Carrot salad with
I don't know if I could do carrot salad. I don't know.
with apples and pecans and a little pineapple. Whoa, that was really good. And then that wonderful whipped cream salad that they do too. And then their pecan pie might be the best pecan pie I've ever eaten. I'm telling you, it is wonderful.
Yeah, we had Hook's ribs.
But they give you the smallest portion now. If they were at, now let me tell you something about the difference in Martin's up here. Red's Little Schoolhouse gives you a little old piece of pecan pie. Let me tell you, you go to Martin's and they'll give you more coconut coconut pie than you can eat. And it is right out of the oven, too. It's wonderful.
I mean, I'll give Red Schoolhouse my ultimate compliment. If it was $20, I'd pay $20 for it.
Oh, you're right. It's awfully good. And I tell you, I hope I'm making some folks hungry today.
Can you imagine if that was like somewhere like in Birmingham?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there'd be lines all the way out, maybe almost to Sykes and Con. You're right.
That's crazy.
And
Hook's ribs are wonderful. I mean, we had great food all weekend. It was great to be in Troy.
And then, like you said, the Hooks.
Golf cart ride with the girls and see the campus. And little bit, so that's sad to see. But University looks amazing. It looks the best I've ever seen it.
Yeah. I was with the chancellor yesterday, and of course they had the big freshman deal as they do every year. Before school starts, they get and they had the band in there, and the band's gonna march about 350 again this year, so it's a huge band. And they practiced last night, and it's always a lot of fun to go out and hear them too.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just exciting time of year.
Are we on there?
Football fan and sports fan. Of course, the sororities had their squill day. And,
Yeah. Oh, man, I tell you what, that right there, I
excited and start their college life as far as sororities go.
And let me say this. Ladies and gentlemen, every sorority, I think, got their total, and I think the total was 80. Can you believe that, Mike? 80 pledges?
That's hard to believe. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Colleges.
Right. And I want to say, and every sorority got their numbers. And I want to say there's 80, which that is wonderful. And they've got a new sorority on campus now, and they had to because of these numbers.
I'll tell you what, it'd be hard to remember all the names. You had 80 pledges.
Well, it's you know what, you'd have to do like they do with football. And I noticed even at Alabama they had Tua's name with tape written across the top of his helmet. Had Tua's name. You're right. These coaches and these sorority pledge captains, it's going to take them a while to know all these girls.
I tell you would have a lot of fun. They're doing like a Hard Knocks thing like they do on HBO for the NFL teams. They're doing that with Alabama this year on ESPN, like a 4-part series, and it kind of goes behind the scenes with Saban and the freshman football players, and he takes them out to Lake Tuscaloosa on the inner tubes, and he puts 2 of them on the inner tubes with a ski boat, and he's got all the players on the boat, and he's riding his fast.
Does he really?
Trying to flip the guys off the inner tubes, and he's just like laughing the whole time. He's got a New York Yankees shirt on, but then they show him like at his house, this huge mansion, feeding all the players, and he's out there on a little go-kart riding around. I mean, he's acting like he's a kid. It's crazy. I mean, to know that he's almost 67 years old.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of energy with these players.
Well,
I just realize, how much they really love him and what a recruiter he is to get these guys on campus. But, I mean, he's out there just like, like a kid.
Well, they've got him an extra big ring now so everybody can kiss his ring, Mike. Go in there and kiss his ring.
Well done. I mean, it shows all the behind the scenes of practice and all their facilities, and I tell you what, it's a huge endorsement for Alabama football.
Now, who did that now?
ESPN. It's a show on ESPN called Rolling with the Tide.
Oh boy, isn't that something?
You'll pick it up if you flip through ESPN throughout the day. It'll be on.
I was looking through this media, and of course it talks about a lot of the guys still in the pros. Evidently, Jordan Chun played some for Dallas the other night, and Steve.
Yeah, that's gonna be really tough. Though he's got to beat out Bo Scarborough, from Alabama, and a couple other guys, even to try to earn a spot.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a tough situation for Chun.
I tell you, it's impressive, and looking at.
Bo Scarborough went 28 yards for a touchdown the other night.
He did. Bo Scarborough did.
Yeah, for Dallas.
Give me Jordan Chun over Bo Scarborough.
Well, Chun was free agent. Scarborough went seventh round. He was actually a draft.
Exactly.
So I don't know how they look at that.
Yeah, no question. I was thumbing through today, and it's fun to look at all this. And they've got a young man that's on that works for the athletic department that is really outstanding when it comes to knowing the players. And you got to have at least one guy that knows.
Sports information guy.
No, not a sport, but the football operations guy.
Yeah.
And I tell you, he is really good. And I was wondering. His name is Brian Bennett. He's the director of player personnel at Troy, and he's in his 4th year at Troy. And He has been at Florida, at Texas, at Louisville, under current South Florida head coach Charlie Strong. He'd been a Charlie Strong guy for a long time, and I got to talk to him about 30 minutes the other day at practice, and he could tell you a story about every player out there, which every staff needs that, because, I mean, like we just talked about, there's no way in the world to know all these guys, but this guy, Brian Bennett, does. He knows them, and he's works with recruiting, and, of course, Bennett's efforts have helped Troy land 3 of the top recruiting classes in program history. The first full recruiting class under Neil Brown ranked 2nd in the Sun Belt, and also was ranked in the Sports South and Scout and several other recruiting programs. And of course, Troy's 2nd recruiting class under Brown was once again rated 2nd best in the Sun Belt, while Rivals ranked it the top class by average signing rating. And Troy's latest class boosted a average score of 81 by 247 sports, marking the first time in school history that Troy's signing class has topped an average of 80. I don't know what this means by recruiting services. So it was the best recruiting class in Troy history. The average second highest in Sun Belt was 0.5 behind Troy, despite not counting Troy's 2 transfers who will immediately be eligible, and that's the kid, the Wolf Fork kid, Mike, and who was the other kid they got last week?
They got another kid. They got a kid from Mississippi and a running back out of Georgia.
But this guy has really been outstanding. You got to have a guy like this, Mike, that stays on the phone with these guys, and you know, these guys say, "Well, I reckon Troy forgot me." You know what I'm saying. That's the way a lot of them say. I reckon Alabama forgot me, or Florida State forgot me. I hadn't heard from them in a long time. Hey, a good recruiter won't let that happen. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, the big thing is these camps. You know, a lot of times, you know, they build relationships when these kids are in 9th, 10th grade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly right. And you know, Troy now has a what they call a senior football analyst. So, now, you know, how many times do you see at Troy's level?
Auburn has those, and Alabama's got about 20 of them.
And, you know, it's just like having those. They're not supposed to coach on the field, but, you know, they've got to be doing some kind of.
I mean, that's what Butch Jones, the former Tennessee coach, is. He's an analyst.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Troy's staff. Another guy, director of player personnel, is a guy named Jamal Smith. What do you think about Smooth?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. He's been there for years and been a big part of the program with Coach Blayton and now with Coach Brown. So he's been there a long time.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to have, you know, guys that have been there and kind of experienced, you know, the good days and the bad days.
Yeah.
Of course, Troy's going through the good days right now, coming off 11-2 and 10-3.
No question about it. Raphael Horton, of course, is the strength coach, and of course.
Yeah, he's done a really good job coming in for Kentucky.
Yeah. And you know, and I'm looking at some of these guys, graduate assistants. One of them is Caleb Carbine. You remember what a player he was, and he's going to be an outstanding coach. And you know, I was looking at a lot of these graduate assistants that are here at Troy, and we're proud to have their staff. Mark Perry is now the director of football operations. He's in his first season. Of course, everybody knows who Cornelius Williams was. He was famous before he left high school, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's part of that Hoover TV show.
See that TV show? He was number 1, and I think he broke a Hoover record his senior year with the most touchdowns in school history, wasn't it?
I don't know. They had that Chad Jackson guy that broke a lot of records. New England Patriots.
Yeah. Well, he played on
He was a big-time high school player.
No question about it. And of course, he played at Troy, and now he's coaching at Troy. And also Sean Reagan. Now, he's another guy, a young coach that came here a long time ago with Blakeney. Can you believe he's in his 10th year?
It's hard to believe.
And you know, he's not. I doubt if he's any older than you are. I would think he's younger than you are, probably. But he's 40. That's right. He is younger than you. He's from Conyers, Georgia, and of course he went to Salem High School and played. His alma mater was North Georgia College, but he is the quarterbacks coach, and evidently has done a great job because both of these coaches have kept him. He's been with the staff for 10 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he moved up to co-offense coordinator, Matt Moore's offense coordinator, and so those type of things. At Troy, he's had Brandon Silvers for 5 years, and then he had Corey Robinson for about 5 years.
And, you know, he told me something one day, and I think I've shared this with everybody before. You know, back when everybody was sort of doubting, you know, Brandon Childers, or Silvers, and everybody was saying, well, gosh, can this guy do it? He told me one day, he said he might be one of the best we've ever had. And sure enough, he got to be pretty good. I don't know if he was better than was he better than Hogabook, or was he better than
he you know, definitely when it comes
pretty
down
good.
to winning seasons. I mean, Troy had never won 10 games in Division I. He went 10
That's right.
and he went 11-2.
You'd pretty much have to say he was the best since.
Now, his first 2 years, he struggled, you know. I mean, the first year, you know, Coach Brown was there. You know, Troy went 4-8, but he was hurt a lot that year.
Yeah. Al Poe coaches cornerbacks and is the recruiting coordinator. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I've ever been around a guy that's more popular than Poe. Mike, he is in Montgomery, and there's a lot of athletes come out of Montgomery. Al Poe is like a papa to most of them. I mean, they just love Al Poe. And of course,
I've seen him at some events in Montgomery before with all the coaches, and he's one of those type of guys that he gets hugged by about everybody that wants.
Oh yeah, no question. Of course, he coached at Carver and was an outstanding coach there. And he's the guy that brought St. Jude's program back too. And he also coached at Lanier and Calhoun and Lee High School. And he just been an outstanding coach. But more than anything, he is an outstanding recruiting coordinator, and that's where it all starts. That's where that's where winning starts, is getting good players, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, of course, how the season goes. You're already predicting 14-0, which is
well, I'm just saying this.
On another day that you'd be happy with 8-4, but coaching staff, if they stick together and they go with Coach Brown, you know, I mean, let's be honest, Coach Brown's probably going to get a big-time job somewhere after this season. I mean, we're pretty blessed we kept him this year, but, you know, I'll be interested to see how this staff works at a bigger program on down the road. You know, they've definitely done it at the Sun Belt level, and I would think they'd be able to do it at the next level.
Yeah. Yeah,
recruiting is recruiting, but I guess, you know, when you're in state, you have a lot of connections.
Yeah. Matt Moore, the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, and he did the interview Saturday. He laughed he said, "Oh yeah, I have the title of offensive coordinator, but that guy over there called all the plays." And he was pointing at Coach Brown.
I mean, that's refreshing he said that, because I used to always get upset on Facebook and on media boards when they were blaming Edenfield after the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, do these people not realize that Brown calls the plays?
And, you know, I believe Edenfield will probably definitely call the plays where he's going down to South Alabama.
That's the reason he went to South Alabama, so he could call his own plays.
Well, let me tell you this. One of the more outstanding coaches in America, in my opinion, is Matt Moore at Troy, the offensive line coach. He's got more depth in the offensive line than Troy's ever had. Last year, he put together an offensive line that I thought would be very mediocre, turned out to be great. And now he's got some of the finest looking offensive linemen I've seen that Troy ever have. And that's where it all begins offensively. If you can't block people, you sure can't beat them, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if he recruited all those guys or who recruited those linemen, but they have done a great job bringing some really good good.
Well, I'll tell you where his career began. Like, we need to count and see how many of them started.
He's a Valdosta State guy.
I know he was a Valdosta State. Well, let's see. Yeah, that's where he went to school. He went to Valdosta State. You're exactly right. But he's got to start in high school at Hoover.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach at Hoover College from
Yeah, I wonder if he was there when Pruitt was there.
1999 through 04.
So he missed Pruitt. Pruitt was a little later.
And then he went to North Gwinnett, Georgia as a head coach. Then he came back to Troy as offensive line coach, went to Texas Tech as offensive line coach from 07 to 11. And then he left there and went to Middle Tennessee for 1 year. And then he went to Louisiana Tech for 1 year. And then he's been back at Troy since 15. But let me tell you something.
He was at Louisiana Tech for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was, no. Oh, yeah. That was his last. That's where he was before he came to Troy.
Yeah, he left a pretty good program.
Oh, yeah, really did. Oh, he did. And he's just a very good football coach. And I like his demeanor. I like the way he acts. He's a class operator, class guy. And then Jordan Leslie, Mike, a young man that I watched play at Troy. And
I've known Jordan a long time.
And Jordan after he graduated at Troy, and of course he played in some of Troy's biggest games ever. But he went to Kilgore Junior College in Texas and coached linebackers. And ladies and gentlemen, that he not only went there to coach, but then he stayed in the Mississippi Junior College system, and now he is one of the top recruiters, Mike, of Mississippi Junior College players in the country because of his experience.
The big thing is he went to Scuba.
That's right.
And they became famous because of their television series they did on East Mississippi, and he was their defensive coordinator. And if you've ever seen the players that come out of East Mississippi, went to Division I schools.
It's probably the best in the country.
Incredible.
Yeah. And of course, he was also at Northwest, and he was actually born and raised in Fulton, Mississippi. And so he's well known in those circles. And one of his good friends that came here and coached Mike at Troy, his name's right on my end of my tongue, but he's now the head coach at East Mississippi. So So it really helps to have that kind of connections in the junior college circuit, and we definitely do with him. Then, of course, Vic Koenig, another coach that I don't know if I'd ever want to give up. He's a defensive coordinator, and
he could be a defensive coordinator anywhere in the country.
Oh, I believe he could too. Listen to some of the places.
Well, he already has been. Yeah, name the places he's been. People will be shocked.
Well, he played at Kansas State, and so he had to learn a lot about football from there. He actually played with the Denver Broncos, the Oklahoma Outlaws, and the Green Bay Packers. So he played about 4 or 5 years in the pros. He started his coaching at Memphis and was there for 4 or 5 years, and then he became defensive coordinator at Wyoming. And then from 97 to 99, he was the head football coach. 2000 to 2002, he was the head coach at Wyoming. Then we hired him at Troy as a defensive coordinator in 2004. Then he left Troy and went to Clemson as a defensive coordinator, defensive back coach. Then he left and went back home to his old alma mater and was a co-defensive coordinator at Kansas State. And you know the guru out there is not going to take just any ordinary defensive coordinator. You know, he's a defensive guy himself.
Yeah, Bill Snyder.
Yeah, Snyder. And, of course, he was then he, like I said, he coached at Kansas State. And then he became the defensive coordinator at Illinois and was also interim head coach, Mike, after they fired the head coach out there.
Yeah, they fired Ron Zook.
So then he became, then later on, he went to North Carolina as their defensive coordinator.
Under Fedora.
Yeah, under Fedora, and then came back to Troy in 2015. So
That's pretty incredible. I tell you what, that's a lot of traveling with your family and your kids, but that's just part of it as a big-time college football coach.
Yeah. And Bam Harmon, Mike, who is also an excellent coach, coaches the inside linebackers.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He played at Florida, and how Troy got him is he was coaching at Idaho, of all places.
I remember that. And, his playing career, Mike, he played at Florida, then he played in the pros at Miami, Seattle, then went to play in Europe, and then he came back and played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and finished his career in NFL Europe. But his first coaching job was at Illinois, and I'm sure that's where Vic Koenig, got to know him. And then
that's when Ron Zook, the former Florida coach, got the Illinois job.
That's right. And then Charleston Southern hired him. Then he went to Idaho as the defensive line coach, and was named defensive line coach at Troy in 2015, and he remains at Troy. Also, I want to mention a few more. Brandon Hall, who is an outside linebackers coach and special teams coach, and Mike, he's a new coach. I'm going to have to find out a little bit about him here. He's been around a little bit.
Who did you mention?
Brandon Hall, who is the
that was the co-defense coordinator at Jacksonville State.
Yeah, he was, and I'd like to find out more about him here as we speak. He played at Oklahoma, and then he became outside. He started coaching with a student coach and quality assistance coach, and coached linebackers at Oklahoma.
He played at Oklahoma in college?
It says that's what they said, yeah.
Wow.
And
so he's a Stoops guy.
Yeah, he has been a part of all kinds of bowl games, but he, like I said, he got his start at Oklahoma coaching, and then he went to Northern Iowa, Broken Arrow High School. Then he went back and coached special teams and linebackers at Central Oklahoma. He was there for about 5 years. Then he went to Central. Then he became the defensive coordinator at Central Oklahoma. Then he went to Oklahoma as a defensive assistant in 2011. Then later he left there and went to Arkansas State to coach safeties. And then he went to Auburn as a defensive assistant in 2013.
Then he looks like a young guy.
That's right, and he's 42, and then he went to Jacksonville State, and gosh, like you said, you got to hand it to him. He was defensive coordinator for Jacksonville State from 2014 to 2017, and then we got him to coach linebackers this year. His hometown is Newcastle, Oklahoma, and of course, he's the newest member of our staff. Of course, Sean Dawkins, Mike, he was asking about you the other day. Do you remember him when he was at Troy?
Yeah, I remember Sean when he played. I think Troy had so many running backs back then. I think he was, kind of in a rotation of running backs Troy had. But I definitely remember him as a player.
Well, he got his start. Of course, he played here at Troy, and then he went to West Texas A&M, which is a good program. Murray State running backs, Chattanooga running backs. Then he coached running backs and game coordinator at Murray State. Then he went to Austin Peay as the running back coach, and that's how. Then we got him that way. Mike, let's check. I might put you on hold right here in a moment. Let me see here. Where's my hold? All right. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. It's Will Matthews.
Where have you been, Will? In fact, I've been looking at the obituaries, trying to find and see when your funeral was going to be, because we thought you were out of here, man.
No, I've been all right. I played in the golf tournament in Monroeville this weekend. I hadn't played in the golf tournament in years, and I got invited over there. It was nice.
Well, good friends of mine are over there, and I know all about that guy. Of course, a friend of mine, Terry Wilkerson, who played basketball at Troy, sort of that, you know, he's retired, and he sort of runs that golf course over there.
You need to be a mountain goat to play it. It's a hilly course.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Will Matthews is a granddaddy, ladies and gentlemen. And like we were talking about, I was showing all the pictures in my living room yesterday, and I had all my folks in there, and I said, you would have thought that was your baby, Will.
Well, you know, everybody can say what they want to about the president. I think he's the greatest man that ever.
He changed your life, didn't he? And your son's life.
He hired my son March 2 years ago. And my son went to work for him in Pennsylvania, and he ran his campaign. He's only 28 years old. I mean, you wouldn't hear about, you know, Trump did not have a professional staff behind him when he started out. And, you know, my son started at 28. Now he works for Trump in Washington. He met this girl on the campaign trail, fell in love with her, they got married, and they had a baby last Friday.
Well, that is wonderful. And what did Trump send them for the wedding gift? $1 million or what? What did they do?
No, I have not heard of any wedding gift.
Well, I tell you, congratulations. And you know what, though? I tell you, though, Will, and I think everybody in Ozark and people that knows your son, he's a sharp dude, bud. Hey, I don't know what happened to you, Will, but your son's a sharp dude.
Well, I tell you, he's a hard worker.
Well, you know, and you know, and he's got your personality. I mean, you never met a stranger, and you know, you're always up tempo. Very rarely are you ever down. You're an up tempo guy. You got to be that way to be in that position.
And you know, my dad, when I was coming along, he did not want me to get involved in politics. And he was just against it. He said, you practice law, you help people doing that, you don't need to get involved in politics.
Yeah.
So I never did.
Well, you say that. Why do you say that? Hey, you're on the you went to the convention. Let me just let Will tell you a little story. All right, Will, how long have you been a delegate to the Republican convention?
The last 2 times I've been elected as a delegate to the national convention.
And that's a statewide race, isn't that right?
Right.
All right.
I was a Newt Gingrich delegate in 2012. Of course, he didn't get it. Romney got it. Romney got beat.
Yeah.
And then I was a Trump delegate 2 years ago. Of course, Trump won, so, you know. But, so I've been to it twice.
Yeah. Well, let me just, you might have heard this story before, but I thought it was a very unique story. It's all about who you are and who you know and an opportunity. Your son talked you in to go into the convention in Cleveland, isn't that right?
Well, I was already thinking about running, but I didn't know at the time I was thinking about being a Rubio delegate.
Yeah.
And my son said, because I'd met Rubio, and I thought he was a nice young man, and he said, no, you need to go with Trump. He's going to win. I said, what are you talking about? He ain't got a chance. He said, Trump's going to win. And there were 16 people running against him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Did money have anything to do with that, or did him having so much money, did it have anything to do with him winning?
I think it had everything to do with it, because when he ran in the primaries, he did not spend any money except his own money.
Yeah. And then the Republicans were having a real problem with if they were going to go with Rubio, or they were going to go with Cruz, or and then of course they going to go with our former president's son and the governor of Florida.
Yeah, he got absolutely nowhere.
I know, but what I'm saying, everybody was looking at them, and they really didn't take Trump very seriously, did they?
Yeah, Jeb Bush.
Yeah.
And
all right, but let's move on, though, and ladies and gentlemen, your son was working with you at your law firm, and didn't he talk you into going to the convention or something, or what happened?
I was already a delegate, and they were having a meeting in Montgomery, a delegates meeting, about the rules, because Ted Cruz was trying to steal the nomination from him.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go. I mean, you could just call in and talk on the phone.
Well, before you move from there, if Ted Cruz would have won, what kind of country would we have had? What would he have done differently?
He would have done nothing like Trump. Trump has just been great.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So anyway, so he said, "No, you go into the meeting, and I'm gonna drive you." So he drove me to Montgomery, and I get there, and there's 33 delegates going to Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah.
For Trump, and there were maybe 10 there, and Jeff Sessions was there, and Jeff and I have known each other for years. Well, Jeff said, "Your son needs to get involved in this campaign." I said, I don't know anything about presidential politics.
Man, he was just sitting there with you, and you were talking, and evidently
we were eating dinner before.
Evidently, he was impressed with the way your son reacted to him.
Oh, yeah. So he reaches in his coat pocket and pulls out his cell phone and calls Donald Trump on the phone.
Wait a minute now. Look now, Will. There's a lot of folks in Dothan, a lot of folks in Eufaula, a lot of folks in Ozark are saying, what? He didn't pick up that phone and call the president.
He did. Well, he wasn't the president then. He was just Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Wait a minute. All right, now you're sitting there in Montgomery, and he picks up that phone and calls Donald Trump. What did he tell him?
And Donald Trump said, "Can that young man be in Wisconsin tomorrow?" And he looked at me and said, "Can you fly him to Wisconsin tomorrow?" I said, "Hell yeah, I'll fly him to Wisconsin."
Yeah.
Mike, we got back home, and he was living with me at the time.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to pack because, the weather.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
March in Wisconsin could be cold, whatever. Anyway, we packed him 2 suitcases. I drove him to the Tallahassee airport at 4 o'clock in the morning.
All right, now why Tallahassee? Couldn't you have gone to Atlanta just as easy?
That was the only place I could get him out of there early.
To get there on time. Okay.
Right. So I took him to Tallahassee. Of course, they're an hour ahead, so I had to leave at like 4 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And his plane took off at 7, I think, or 7:30. And he's been with Trump ever since.
Oh, man, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing how things work out? And, I mean...
And Mike, they threw him in Wisconsin. They threw him in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Yeah. I reckon, evidently, he had... the congressman evidently had been talking to some of the Trump people, saying they needed people in different places, and but now he had to have been impressed with your son at dinner that night. They must have talked back and forth with each other a little bit. Is that right?
They did, and let me tell you what.
I mean, so he was impressed with him, and he knew that Trump needed some good people.
Yeah, he goes to Wisconsin, and they put him in Eau Claire, and he gets there. He said, "You people are idiots. You don't know anything what you're doing or whatever."
They're a bunch of cheeseheads. They're a bunch of cheeseheads.
Well, the people working, they were volunteer people, whatever.
I'm sure.
Anyway, Ted Cruz got 33 delegates in Wisconsin. Trump got 3. The only 3 he got was where my son was.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So Trump says, "Young man, I'm sending you to Pennsylvania." And he sent him to Pittsburgh. He gave him a car.
So Trump was that hands-on. Trump was very hands-on in his campaign. Then is that right? He did.
He only had 50 campaign workers before the convention.
Isn't that amazing?
That's all he had.
So your son happened to be at the right place at the right time, didn't he?
You're exactly right.
And then he proved to be very important. Because he helped get the young people's vote, didn't he? All the young people at that time were not supporting Trump, were they?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I had a little hand into it. I've got a friend of mine that he was a basketball coach at Vandy for 18 years. His name's Kevin Stallings.
Oh, I've heard of Kevin Stallings. He was the head basketball coach. You're right there.
They already fired him at Pittsburgh, but they had hired him, and he didn't last a year or two. And he's gone now.
But I know, but he was a good coach at Vanderbilt, yeah.
Very, very good coach. I told him, I said, you go call Coach Stallings, and he'll put you up. He'll tell you where to go to get these young Republicans together and all that. So he did. He called Kevin, and Kevin got him in with some groups up there. And when David left Pittsburgh after the primaries, they had 1,500 unpaid volunteers for Trump in Pittsburgh. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that amazing?
He did it with no money. I mean, they paid David.
Did he go to the, I bet he went to the what is that what he did, or what do you think
Absolutely.
He did?
That's where it started, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the biggest upsets, that was one of the key places that Trump won early, is that right?
Right, and that's the one that put him over.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, I know you're awfully proud of him, and of course he lives in Washington D.C. now. Is that right?
Actually lives in Arlington, which is right across the river. I mean, it's a mile from Washington.
Yeah, well, that's right there at the cemetery. Then Arlington is, or is it?
He can, in fact, he can walk to the cemetery from where he lives.
Boy, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yep.
And did you get to go up? Did you fly up there, or where was the baby born?
The baby was born in George Washington University Medical Center in Washington.
Well, that's a big place.
And the baby's back home now, and I'm not going for a couple of weeks, but his mother and my daughter that works with me are going Thursday.
Elizabeth. And that's great. Well, let me ask you this, Will, and I know this is a proud moment for you and your entire family, but this young man's life, has been completely turned around in how, 2 years or 3 years?
Be 2 years and 3 or 4 months.
Isn't it amazing about how quickly something like that can happen? And how important it is to know people. You knew the congressman, and the congressman knew you and saw this young man who probably wanted to be an attorney one day, didn't he?
Actually, no. I mean, he did not go to law school. He had a public relations degree, which really did fit perfectly in campaigning for somebody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Will,
changing subjects a second. Of course, again, congratulations. And what do they name him?
It's a little girl.
Oh, little girl.
Emma Louise.
Now, Emma's one of your family names, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
Neither one of them were.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Louise, he was named. The girl was named after Louise Johnson. This lady, she was worked for me for years raising the children. A black lady in Ozark, and she died a few years ago, but she was wonderful to my children.
Well, that was wonderful.
And they named the child after her.
Yeah. Okay, the PGA, you had to have been excited for this Koepka.
Koepka.
Yeah. And man, was that as one of the best examples of being cool and under pressure? I've never seen anything like it.
That guy is. I've never seen They say he's the first golfer since Ben Hogan that could, just look like it. He's just out there walking around, no pressure, no nothing.
I tell you, when he got a little bit shook, and I don't blame him, and I was feeling uneasy a little bit for him, was when Scott, hit the ball way over there to the left, and spent all that time looking for his ball and getting a clarification on the status of the ball and all that. You could tell that was getting under his skin a little bit because he probably waited 10 minutes. What do you think?
He's a very quick player, too. I would have gone ahead and hit. I just said, look, I'm going to go ahead and hit.
Well, you saw what he did at the end, don't you? You saw what he did at the very end. most people, ladies and gentlemen, would have let Scott putt out, go ahead and spot the ball, and, just 2 inches from the hole, and then he would make the little putt, and then he'd get all the ovation and all that. But he went ahead and did it. I believe he was a little teed at Scott for some reason. I think he was.
I think, the guy is a class guy, and I've never seen somebody drive the ball off the tee like he does every time.
All right, now you're a pretty good golfer in your own right, and when Tiger Woods interviewed, they said he was hitting it 340 yards on the fly. They explained that to people on the fly, and that was more impressive than most any other course. Ladies and gentlemen, it would have rolled another 20 more yards, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
But what does that mean on the fly like that?
The ball carries that far.
The ball carried that far, and most of the time it's usually that far. If somebody hit it that far, it would have had to roll 20 or 25 yards, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a long way, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, but he was, Faldo doesn't. I've never heard him use so many superlatives about this guy. This guy might be the next superstar. What do you think?
Well, he already is. I mean, he's won 3 majors in the last 6.
Yeah, I know, but they still haven't always talked to him in the same way they would talk about Spieth or Day or Rose or some of those guys. They never have put him in the ranks with him. They will now, but up until now, I don't think they did. What do you mean?
Well, he's only won 4 tournaments, and 3 of them were majors.
I thought he just won 3.
Well, he's won 3 majors.
Yeah, I know 3 majors, yeah.
And he's won 1 other tour event, and that's it.
Exactly.
So, he hadn't won a lot of tournaments, but you get him in a major where the pressure's there.
Oh yeah.
You got to hit it straight. It gives him a big advantage because he hits it straight.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Ram. You would think the top players going into this tournament. Of course, he might have been mentioned, but I don't think he was mentioned the same way that Woods and Scott and Ram and Molinaro and Thomas and Fowler and Spieth and Wes Simpson's been and Jalen Rose and what's our other young guru that's so good from
No, there's so many Rick Lowry. You got
our young guru from
Ricky Lowry.
No, from Britain.
Justin Rose.
No, the great one that hits it so far.
Oh, you think about Rory McIlroy?
Yeah, McIlroy. But you wouldn't have put him in there with those guys, would you?
Oh, we will now.
I know, but you wouldn't have though prior to this tournament. What do you think?
Well, he's won 2 straight U.S. Opens. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I know that it's very good, and of course, man, I was impressed with how cool he was, and I think that the commentators, and like you said, it's like having a middle linebacker playing golf, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, that boy is strong he looks like a football player.
Oh yeah, back in the old days, the guy named Mike Suchak, you remember him?
I do.
All right, he was a big old burly guy. You remember him?
Yes.
And then what's his name? You had Nicholas and Weiss. What was the young guy?
Tom Weisskopf.
Weisskopf. He was a big, strong guy, wasn't
he? Yep.
but none of them strong like this guy, you know.
No, this guy's built.
You know, I said that just a while ago that one of the commentators, it might have been Faldo, says, I think the guy with the biggest biceps is going to win this tournament. And Tiger wasn't even wearing a shirt conducive to show his biceps, you know.
Yeah, Tiger.
But he changed shirts. How many times did they say he changed shirts?
Well, he just soaked them, got them soaking wet.
I know. They said he changed shirts 13, 14 times. I didn't know they did that.
During the tournament, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
2
No
or 3 a
question
day.
about it. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to put you on hold a second. I'll be right back with you.
All right.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, I was just calling.
All right. I'm gonna bring him in and then you in. All right. Are both y'all on now?
I'm on.
Will, are you on?
I'm here.
All right, we got him on. Will Matthews on, speaking from Ozark this morning. I reckon you're in Ozark or you're in Dothan.
I'm in Dothan. I'm fixing to walk in the courthouse.
Okay, fit to walk in the courthouse in downtown
What about
Dothan.
the grandkid? You been up to see the grandkid yet?
Not yet, but I'm going.
We were talking about him though, Mike, just a while ago.
Yeah.
So, Will, what's your opinion on Koepka? Is he the type guy that will last and win up to 7 or 8 majors? You think he has that capability?
You know, something he said yesterday was he hopes he'll start playing better on the tour.
Yeah, he's won 3 majors and 1 other tour event. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, his game, Michael, is built for a major because they got to hit it in the fairway in a major.
Yeah.
And that's his game's off the tee.
Yeah.
He's not
Did you get to watch it? Did you get to watch it, Will?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Weren't you shocked that Thomas, as great as a putter as Justin Thomas is, missed those chip shot putts?
Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot of people thought he was going to win the tournament.
He had a chance to win, but he was 4 under par for the day at one time and was looking good. I mean, he was 12 under par and then just went to pieces the last 5 or 6 holes.
Isn't it amazing how Tiger is just striking the ball right now? I mean, every single putt he had on that back 9 was less than 10 feet.
How you do it?
But I tell you what, you know, Will, you said it at one time, and let's go ahead and admit it now, that you said you didn't think Tiger would ever come back, but it looks like he might. What do you think?
He hadn't won one yet.
Yeah, you're right. He sure came close to winning that one, though, didn't
he? Yeah, he did.
Uh-huh. You know, like you said, certain courses are set up for, like Brian Gay. All right, we were talking about him. He was next to last. That's just not his course. I mean, he doesn't hit it very far. On this golf course, you're supposed to hit it a long ways, don't you?
Yeah, he's the shortest hitter on the tour.
Yeah, and so this wasn't his type of course.
It's hard to believe that Bubba played so bad in a course like that.
Did he even make the cut?
No, he didn't make the cut. He played really bad. Nicholson played really bad.
Yeah. Of course.
I tell you, a guy that always surprises me is, I mean, how he can hit it off the tee, but his overall game's just not very good. As McIlroy's not playing very well.
Yeah, McIlroy, he made the cut, but just barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. And Speed ended up with a 66, but he ran into some trouble. We still took home close to $200,000, but and Jason Day shot 71 yesterday. So a few of the good, you know, the scores were real good. I mean, almost everybody was under par, but you know, that guy that was hitting it a mile, like Tiger said, he was hitting most of the time he was hitting just a sand wedge into the hole. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean he's hitting driver sand wedge, always 400.
How far do they hit sand wedges? Now you got a 9-iron and a sand wedge. Of course, I know you're going to hit a 9-iron further, but how far do these pros hit a sand wedge?
Well, they hit a sand wedge 135 yards.
All right. Do they hit it clean or do they hit down on the ball?
I hit down on it.
And it hit it 130 yards. How about a 9-iron? How far would they hit a 9-iron?
Oh God, 150 or 60.
Yeah. Now, how far do you hit a? How far do you hit a sand wedge? About 80, 60 to
85 yards.
Yeah.
On Adam Scott, Will, you know, he's back to that long putter, but he's not anchoring it. I mean, that's still, though, that putter just doesn't look like it should be legal to me.
Well, as long as you don't put it up against your body.
I've got one of those putters now. I've got one of those putters. Do you have one of those long putters?
No.
I bought one at a auction sale the other day.
How did you do in Monroeville? I saw you were playing in a tournament down there.
Came in third in our flight and just could not make anything.
Yeah.
I mean, just.
Was this a four-ball tournament?
So scramble, two-man scramble.
Was Joe Frank Terrell playing in it?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, of course, he's from Bruton.
Was that a nice course down there?
Yeah, they had 180 players in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge.
Well, that's something. And, of course, Will, back to different clubs that people use. When most of the players are chipping around the green, are they chipping with a pitching wedge or a 9-iron or what? Or 8-iron? What are they chipping with?
Usually some sort of sand wedge.
So something that's got a lot of loft. Is that right?
Yeah, they'll loft it on the green and then let it trickle out. Yeah.
And so for you amateurs out there, that you can they chip with a sand wedge. What degree would it be? As much as you got, or what?
Probably a 55 degree.
Yeah. Sand wedge. Now most of these pros how many sand wedges do they bring with them? 2 or 3?
Well, they'll have 3 wedges at least.
All right. Well, and what would be the what 55, 65,
They'll
or
have
what?
like a 60 degree, and then they have maybe a 55 and then a 50.
Yeah. The woods they use a driver and then maybe a 5-wood or a 3-wood.
They'll probably have a driver and a 3-wood, and that's box, and the rest is irons.
Yeah, the rest is irons. Do you ever see many players use what is it? They call the woods
hybrids.
Hybrids, yeah. Do many of them use hybrids?
No, you won't see a pro use a hybrid.
But now
a lot of Champions Tour guys use them.
Yeah, the older you get, you might see it.
But a 3-iron, do most every pro have to really hit the 3-iron good, or would they actually use a 5-wood?
I haven't seen a 5-wood on a pro anywhere.
Okay.
You just don't see it.
But they've got it. But to be a successful pro, you got to hit a 3-iron good. You got to hit a 3-iron.
Hell, they never use them. They drive the ball so far.
Yeah, they drive it so far. That's right.
Tiger's got a club that he's made called a driving iron. What is that? Like a long 1-iron?
Like a 1-iron, yeah.
Is that legal for him to do that?
He can hit it almost 300 yards.
Yeah.
What he does, he weights it down, doesn't he, with lead? Is that right?
Oh, that club. He hits that thing like a 3-wood, but it's an iron.
Oh boy. Now, who's probably the best iron? Do you have any guys you were talking about the other day hitting a 1-iron? A lot of people can't hit a 1-iron, can they?
Jack Nicklaus could back in his day.
And but you don't see a 1-iron hardly ever used, do you?
A hard club to hit, yeah.
Yeah. But so when they hit an iron, it's usually a 3-iron. Want to hit an iron 230, 240. Would they hit a 3-iron that far?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Probably farther.
Really? That 250? Some of them hit it 250?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, have you made it down to Mississippi yet to play the sports books?
I have not, but I understand they're already open.
Yeah, they are. They're open everywhere almost already. All 28 casinos will have them.
We should have some kind of football game tonight. Is that right?
Preseason, yeah.
I'm trying to. Oh yeah, I tell you who it is. It's Baltimore. Well, no, it's not Baltimore. Let's see. Maybe we don't have one tonight.
No, they'll have one on Monday night.
Well, I've got one on the 20th. And I've got one on the 16th, but I don't see one on Monday. I don't believe we got one tonight. I might be wrong.
I'll tell you something I saw, and I just came across it on TV, but the quarterback from Ole Miss, it was so controversial.
The kid that's at Michigan now?
No, he's at the Denver Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
That guy played phenomenal.
Chad Kelly.
Oh, yeah, Kelly's a good player.
And he played phenomenal. They got a steal with him.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad to see that.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
of course, our show's brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. We appreciate them this morning.
Now, the guy I played golf with this weekend's best friends is A.J. McCarron.
Really?
A.J. is at Buffalo, and they're supposed to announce the starter today or tomorrow. And A.J. played the other night and had a good game.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I'd like to see him get a chance.
Quarterback, they're paying a pile of money, and I got a feeling that's the guy going to be the starter.
Yeah. AJ's story is very similar to Kenny Stabler. You know, he played behind LaMonica all those years, you know, and just wasted away, you know. And I think McCarron's the same way.
Yeah, well, McCarron's got his contract's built to where if he plays a certain number of snaps during the year, he gets more money.
Yeah. Well, is his wife now a movie star, or what is she?
She's fixing to have another baby.
Oh, is she? Well, that's great. Will we, of course, always enjoy you calling. And
oh, yeah.
now we're going to have a pig show we're going to have a pig show every Thursday and Friday on this show, so it's going to be fun talking about college and high school, college, and even pro football. And are you ready?
I tell you what, I'm ready. I'm going to predict one thing right off the bat. Washington will beat Auburn in the first game.
I wouldn't doubt
That
it.
wouldn't be a shocker.
But, you know, they've got a great quarterback and a great running back. But Auburn got a fast defense.
I'll tell you what, they got a great coach, too.
Yeah, Peterson's a great coach.
Yeah, and, of course, my upset is Troy over Boise to open the season. Will, I think Troy's going to be special.
Where are they playing?
Yeah, in Troy.
Oh, I might have to go to that.
Yeah, that's right. You ought to. And,
It'll be 5 o'clock. Alabama plays at 7.
yeah, that's right. When you watch the Alabama game in our tailgate.
I got you.
Watch it in the box.
Exactly, yeah, in the box.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Auburn at 2:30, Troy at 5, and Alabama at 7.
So right in between, yeah.
Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions in the first scrimmage and 2 threw 3 touchdowns. So I think we know who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, I think that says it all right there. Yeah. Well, y'all have a good week.
Well, hey, you do too. And again, congratulations, and tell you all your folks that we're thinking about them.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Will Matthews calling in from Ozark. Mike, you still on the phone?
Yeah.
With Mike Amos in Birmingham. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back to more of Today in L.A.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your people.
Larry Acreage, yeah.
Acreage.
I'll get that in a second.
No, I'll call it.
Okay, back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Cahaba Bank, the new bank that's opening up in Troy, Alabama. Already their offices are open on South Brundy Street right in Troy, and we appreciate the first Cahaba Bank in Troy, Alabama, and of course great people running that bank, and I promise you it's going to be a good thing for our community as Troy continues to grow. So does First Cahaba Bank, and with a brand new location being right now, construction on a brand new bank right here in Troy, just off Johnny Witherington Drive. Mike, you couldn't have named a street, as far as I'm concerned, any better after a man that gave so much of his time and effort to city government than Johnny Witherington, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Witherington's been a huge supporter of Troy and was on city council for years and years.
I think he was the chairman of the city council for over 30 years as chairman, and so he headed that up.
It's always amazing that he's only like a year younger than me. He always looks like a young man.
Yeah. Well, I played football with him growing up, and I knew him because he's a year behind me, and hey, he's grown as an individual, and was a hard-nosed football player. A lot of people might not know that about him.
Of course, we didn't mention this. A real strange situation going on at University of Maryland, where they have suspended their football coach and a lot of other trainers and staff. They had a player that was unfortunately died during summer practice from running 110s. A guy named Jordan McNair unfortunately passed away of a heat stroke.
Oh, boy.
And Durkin has been put on administrative paid leave, and they've suspended a lot of other coaches and trainers, and no telling what's going to happen in that situation at Maryland. I don't know if that job will come open or not. It's an ACC job, but
oh, boy.
You got to be really, really, really cautious of these guys that are out there in this heat. Heat stroke is something that can happen, and
no question about it.
A player that passed away at Kansas already this year as well. So
I'll tell you something that I watched Troy.
Have fluids.
Yeah.
You got to monitor. Of course, sometimes they find just hard conditions that they didn't even know about.
That's right.
That, happens sometimes, but really sad situation going up at Maryland.
No question about it. And I've seen players at Troy leave the huddle and go get water. And hey, that's what the deal is. If they feel like they're getting dehydrated, they need to make sure they got plenty of water. And Troy's staff is real good about it. And of course they give them breaks. The whole team breaks, but an individual, if he needs water, he can jump right out of that different whatever they're doing and go get water. Of course, I hope everybody's doing well today.
I have no clue, though. I mean, like how back in the day they thought it was a good thing for y'all.
What we got coming on next?
I mean, how in the world did they not think y'all needed water when y'all playing football?
I know, it was crazy. Now, you're talking about getting sued. I would have thought that a lot of coaches back in those days that would not allow water, and something happening, that was terrible the way that was. But
wouldn't they give y'all like a wet rag or something?
Well, they'd have a rag, and sometimes they'd have water, and sometimes they wouldn't. Not much though. But just think of the other infections and things like that you could have gotten from sucking water through that rag like that. It was amazing. That's where it was.
I just don't understand it.
I know it. They did not give you a water break when I played, and when I coached, I don't know if we gave them more than one water break. I think, but about halfway through everything. But they're finding out now, and it's just common sense that they can actually do better and play better if they're hydrated.
I tell you what, when I practiced, it was 95 degrees. We had water bottles and stuff like that. And I tell you what, you didn't worry about germs when you were that hot. You took the water bottle and started drinking.
What? Okay.
That's the way it was back
meet
then.
the Tigers, okay. The Elba Tigers, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed our show, brought to you by Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. We appreciate them very much. Also, I want to mention our good friends at Hooks Barbecue, and boy, what great barbecue they have at Hooks. We appreciate all of our sponsors. Coming up next is Meet the Tigers, the Elba Tigers. Now, this is going to be loud and enthusiastic, so I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early for Today in L.A.